This transplant story that we've been sharing so far has really been amazing, and not just your personal stories, but also the insight to this small community of Bowser, BC, that has really exemplified what heroism is all about. Because Bill, when you were first looking for a living donor, there were in fact 5 residents from Bowser who stepped up to be tested. And when unfortunately the bottom of that opportunity fell out for you, there was a good friend and resident of Bowser that picked up that baton and helped you with it across the finish line, and you received a kidney transplant. But that's not the end of this story, because Sharon, you actually went through the testing to be a living donor for your husband, Bill. And when that opportunity didn't present itself anymore, you didn't stop there. You actually continued on, and you became an altruistic donor. Gotta tell us about that.
Well, once I had done the testing and knew I had qualified to be a donor, I didn't look back. I knew that I was going to be a donor. For me, like what Kathy said, it was just very simple. Everything's laid out for you, and you make a decision and you do it. We were looking at timelines when I decided to be a donor and Bill had his transplant. And, it was recommended that I didn't do it. Well, Bill was recovering, to have 2 of us recovering at the same time, and that was a good choice for us. But it was only 3 months difference. The hospital stay for me, I think, was a little bit easier than Kathy's. She gave me a lot of good tips. And so I knew how to enter that part of that phase of it really, nice and smoothly.
So your post-recovery, Sharon, what was that like for the 2 of you as a couple?
Well, you have to know Sharon. She said she's not a nurse and she doesn't like to be nursed. So.
No, it was great. We had our younger son with us too. And so he kept Bill company, and they did things in Vancouver while I was in the hospital. And quick release from the hospital, they never pressure you to leave. The kidney group, the donor nurse, they say, you're the one in charge. If you don't feel like leaving yet, don't leave. And so we stayed an extra 2 nights, I think, in Vancouver, but our hotel room was on the 14th floor, and somebody pulled the fire alarm, and I had to make my way down 14 sets of stairs to the lobby in my dressing gown, wondering if I should actually be doing this. But it was doable.